All right, Shalom Akim. Before we begin, I want to start off by giving infinite praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Racha double honors to the apostles and elders, I agree Milson, the male teacher, and Ruel, and peace and blessings be unto you, full of Akim, my brothers, that also push out this word in truth, sincerity, and in faith. And Lozul in this lesson, Lozul will be edifying. This is actually going to be a remake of the same topic, focusing on this article, Lozul in post-production that I can see. I actually made this video about 6 days ago when this article first came out, but again, it's just a remake due to technical frustrations. But nevertheless, this is off a news break from Inside Nova, and the title reads, Ashburn Resident, a former CIA employee accused of stashing $40 million in gold bars in his home. All right, and Ashburn as well as Loudoun County and these specific places in northern VA is always the hot topic whenever it concerns, of course, uncoincidentally data centers and any form of technological advancements, especially with AI, with the way it is now. And I say that because it's not a coincidence, because here it is. You have a former CIA employee, again, just stashing up 40 million in gold bars in these same areas as well. But pretty much, I'm gonna just kind of skim through it. All right. There's just many things I can take from this article. All right. First thing that comes to mind is Psalm 73:5. All right. That it really just shows you, first and foremost, to your face, man. Job 9:24. All right. That the earth indeed is given into the hands of the wicked. All right. And of course, that hand, we understand, is pretty much the power, all right, that's been given to this specific people on earth, all right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, to rule as well as to reap the rewards, the ill-gotten gains of everything that this country produces, man. And see, the thing is, it's not just gold that you're just taking. You're taking actual substance, all right, from this from the riches of Babylon, man. It could have been the whole other thing if it's just your average Federal Reserve notes, but here it is. You're taking actual gold bars, things that the actual substance is backed by actual currency, and I can see the mugshot. It's an actual, it's from what we see, an Edomite. All right. I'm gonna just keep reading here. I'm gonna start by reading I'm just kind of skim through it. It says, a former CIA worker and Loudoun County resident is accused of stashing over 40 million in gold bars and cash in his home, and lying for years about his academic and military record. David J. Rush of Ashburn allegedly stocked 301 kilogram gold bars in his home, along with roughly 2 million in currency and dozens of luxury watches and including Rolexes. It says here, according to reporting from the Associated Press detailing an FBI affidavit from November to March, Rush requested and received a, quote, significant quantity of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work-related expenses. And they didn't even go into detail of those significant quantities of foreign currencies. All right, and that's another thing too. Stashing or anything. All right, because these past few days, you have it to where a lot of Jakes that I know, it could be at the job, it could be as well as even Esau himself. As of right now, people are stashing up currently because of a current gun ban, and really it's the same thing here. There's no point of stashing up anything, man. We understand here in Babylon the Great that those things are all tangible, for one. All right, and second, when you understand the prophecies and the things that are foretold to us, we totally understand that the collapse of society also means it's collapse of everything else. All right, right now the current social climate, the way things is, it may seem normal to you, but all that is gonna cease, man. All right, the normalcy bias, the system of how the world is ran right now, the fact that you can buy and sell without a mandated micro C-HIP as of yet, right? That's all still. For one, again, it's still going to happen, all right? And not only is it still going to happen, again, these things are all temporary, all right? And it's the same thing even when you try to go out of your way or another way, or in other words, you can think outside the box and try to there's a word for it, circumvent pretty much the things that they're gonna come your way. You know, here it is. You formerly used to work for the Central Intelligence what's the agency, all right, for the U.S. and here it is. You find yourself stashing $40 million in gold bars. That's not just for actual riches. People like that are the insiders, man. They know what's going on. These Edomites, in the lower tier or lower level that they may be, they know and understand where this country is heading towards, man. All right, a total economical as well as social, and as well as all things considered, it's a collapse. All right, of the quote unquote greatest country on earth, which a lot of people, although they may not say it, they still believe in that. You know. This is the book of Proverbs 11:4. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. Yes, right. And to be quite frank, the whole system as it is right now, the way how it's ran by these people of the quote unquote higher echelons of society, excuse me, the way that they run their banks, the way that they run their financial system, it's all effed up. All right, and that in itself really is wicked. And of course I'm thinking of right now of just something as simple as usury. You know, and here it is, Jake. I mean, when I was reading that article, here it is, 40 million. Give one of those bars to literally just a handful of families of Jake that'll literally feed them for the damn near a lifetime, man. You know, but again, how faithless are you? Not only faithless, but as well as just again, it's just evident, and it just shows you. First off, how do you even manage to steal 40 million dollars worth of gold bars just through through subterfuge, you know, under the desk? Because when you keep reading, yes, the FBI already knew about it, and they pretty much seized everything in his home. But how does that happen? Well, for one, it's just clear and evident that this is still their kingdom. All right, the fact that they're able to stash up like this, as well as to again, as a former CIA agent, all right, you have certain privileges as well, compared to pretty much everyone else in the world. And of course, I'm talking about Jacob. All right, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. That's Psalm 73:5. I already quoted it. All right, the fact that these people are not as plagued as other men. All right, they're not in trouble as other men. But nevertheless, I'm gonna reread Proverbs 11:4. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Yeah, and the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, you have Jakes that are really counting what they have physically on hand as, in a lot of ways, riches too. All right, they count that as things that's of high value, because they think that's going to be able to protect them. And it's the same thing with money as well, with the riches of this world. Jake still thinks that that's going to actually deliver them, all right, from any type of whether it be financial trouble, but as well as ways to escape the plagues that are coming. All right, Jake is not unwise in that aspect. We're a spiritual nation. We're a spiritual people. We understand that something indeed is coming beyond the horizon, man, and it's coming fast. All right, it's still in the midst of the uprisings and the conflicts with these other Middle Eastern countries, mainly Iran, of course. All right, you in that threat, all right, because Jake views it as a threat, which it is in a lot of ways. All right, the draft, the military draft. Jake knows what's ahead, and that's why, like I mentioned before, here in the state of VA by itself, you have a lot of people that are stocking up, especially because of this assault weapons ban. You have again, Jake that is just going out of their ways, running out of their wits, really, all right, to do an unwise thing, which is just to stock up on pretty much the incorrect factor of it all. All right, we just read in Proverbs 11:4 that riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Meaning, what? Righteousness, or righteousness according to the scriptures, is what's going to profit you in that day. It is what's going to make you or sustain you, pretty much, and make you whole. WHOLE. All right, that's Isaiah 33:6. All right, so the knowledge and the wisdom, all right, which is of many benefits that come with actually hearkening into the words of the Lord, because that's what it really boils down to. All right. So there's no need to stack up on weapons, as well as, of course, actual $40 million and worth of golden bars. And it's just so ridiculous, because when you think about, first off, again, it's an Edomite. Well, as we may know, right? But 9 times out of 10, they are. Well, they say they are the devil. All right. Not only is this their kingdom, but it's just very evident, of course, that, again, they have, not only do they have those privileges, all right, it just shows you that Jake in itself, they're not too far off to really fall under the same snare, all right, which is to hide, as well as stash, as well as legitimately try to profit, all right, from many aspects of things that are looming before you, man. All right, but again, they're investing in the wrong thing. All right, you want to stock up on cash for what? So you can escape and leave America? The curses are gonna follow you, man. And whatever country you most likely will go to is gonna be bombed in the third world war. So what's the point, man? And all in all, your righteousness, what's gonna be how is it gonna look like in that day of judgment? You gotta ask yourself these things. This is Matthew 6:20. It says, verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. And as we literally just read, even when I was reading it, it's plain as day that this scripture really is just coming to life. All right. Obviously, when you read it, we understand and know that many of the majority of people don't know the names Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, but when you read it, you can take the spiritual aspect from it. Here it is. Someone had actually accumulated actual, what can be, which it is, wealth, physical wealth. And here it is, the powers that be, they just come and literally seize your assets. They seize the things that you would pretty much lay up for yourselves as a treasure, and unsurprisingly, they came through as a thief, right? And they stole what you had, man. You laid up for yourselves a treasure, and a thief broke through and stole what you had. But nevertheless, the things that we're preaching of, the things that we're telling you that's actually going to profit you in that day, that's actually something that's nobody's incapable of taking from you. All right, verse 20, it says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. And it's funny because when you go into the comment section, you have people jokingly, legitimately saying, like, damn, well, I live in Ashburn too. Let me pretty much like twiddling their gnarled fingers, hoping to get their hand on those riches. I said earlier, one gold bar in itself can legitimately, if it's really worth that much, actually feed a handful of families, man. One gold bar, but your greedy ass took so many worth of 40 million. But nevertheless, yeah, that's right. So in verse 20, it says that we're laying up for ourselves treasures in heaven. All right. And of course, that's stored pretty much in our lob, in our hearts. All right. This word, the names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. All right. The knowledge of how to actually please Him, to actually do what's correct in the eyes of the Lord, man. All right. And that's what's going to profit us in that day. Excuse me. Verse 21, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. All right. That's right. All right. That's pretty much the point. Just wanted to kind of use that article that happened in the news. Again, this is from last week's. I just wanted to make this just a re-upload to the Spirit. So, Lord's will, this video was edifying. I'm going to close out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Kakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders, Agri Millstone, may teach and Ruel, and peace and blessings be unto you, full Akim. Your brothers that also push out this word in truth, faith, and sincerity. With that, I'm going to say Shalom.